Hey guys, welcome to Rising Stars. I'm your interim host, Sean Watt. Michael will be away for a little bit, so I'll be hosting for the next few episodes. This production is sponsored by Urban Eats MTL. We have a very special guest for you guys today. I'm very proud to present Leah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I know. I can see it on you. Look at you. Glowing.
Thank you. It's the highlighter.
It's the
Yeah, it's sparkly.
Amazing. Okay, so how did you get into acting? Let's just dive right in.
Yeah, well, I have been like a performer my whole life, and it's actually a funny story my mom loves to tell, but
now you get to tell it.
yeah, now I get to tell it. But when I was little, like I'm an only child, so I would just like stand on the table in our living room and would like perform songs into like a plastic karaoke microphone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I would force my mom to watch and like...
You forced her?
Yeah.
Poor mom.
And like throw like fake flowers at me and everything, so then the moment...
Did you force her to throw the fake flowers as well, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
she
cool.
was like, I made her sit through
just so we're on the same
all
page.
the performances. Yeah.
All right. So when that happened, okay, and
Yeah.
then from there.
From there, the minute I was like old enough to go to summer camp, my mom, kind of saw that performer in me and enrolled me in a theater camp.
Was this here in Montreal or elsewhere?
So I was actually born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, in the States.
Oh yeah. I can hear the twang.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
There's a little bit that comes in. It comes in when I'm angry too.
Atlanta,
Georgia,
and things like that.
Yeah, it comes in.
Okay.
But yeah, my family is originally from Montreal, but born and raised, spent my whole life there.
So why in Atlanta though?
Well,
if I may ask, of course. Yeah.
Well, my parents, they got married, my dad got a job offer in Atlanta, and they just kind of wanted to like shake things up, try somewhere new, try somewhere warm.
Yeah, with fire ants and things like that.
Yeah.
And cool.
No winter coats.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, and then they just thought like, oh, we'll live there for like 1 or 2 years, and then we'll move. But then they never did.
Ended up staying.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been back in Montreal for?
I've been here for almost 4 years now. I moved here to study at Concordia.
So on your own or with your family, everyone came?
On my own.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
My grandparents are here, like more in like Laval, but so that's nice to have them, like.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
It's backup.
Exactly. Dinners.
Yeah, exactly.
Easter dinner, somewhere to go.
Pretty much. Yeah. Christmas, you're not alone, or friends,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going back to the theater camp, right?
Yeah.
That was in the States?
That was in the States.
So where in the States was that?
That was in Atlanta.
In Atlanta as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So where did that go from the theater camp? Like, what was your first impression of going to that?
For that, I think it's like immediately I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I've been searching for.
Yeah.
And I remember the production, we were like 100 kids in that camp. We did a kids version of the Disney movie Mulan. Like they have like kids musical. And I was a flower. I was a lily flower.
Oh, it's one of those stories, huh?
Yeah, I sat in the back the whole time just holding a flower. I loved it. Like, I was like, I'm a star.
You didn't
I'm
talk?
a star.
You didn't talk
No.
to them? People just stared at you? It's like, what's that flower doing? Why is that flower staring at me weird?
Exactly. I thought I was a star when I was on stage.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so from after that camp, where did you pursue acting afterwards? Like, was it just doing different acting classes in Atlanta, or like what happened? What were the next steps?
Well, I'm lucky that the school I went to in Atlanta had a good theater program, so I was able to do like the shows after school. We would rehearse and do that, and I also did a lot of acting outside of school. So there was
as in what? Like
there was a local theater that had programs for like, especially once I got into middle school and high school, that I would have to audition for to get into, and then would get to take like workshops and classes with artists from like even outside of Atlanta.
Cool.
And then I also started doing Shakespeare that way too.
What's your
like,
opinion
it
about
makes sense.
Shakespeare? Do you think it's overrated or underrated?
I think I love doing it. I mean, I just took a class. I just took a class at Concordia called Hidden Text.
Okay.
And we did like a mix of Shakespeare and then other texts as well.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, it takes a lot more scene study, I find, and like practical work. But once you do the analysis and you know what you're saying and you know the character, it becomes really fun to play with. And like, yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. I've never understood Shakespeare. Even if I tried to get into theater, I'd be like, I don't care, because it's just not for me, right?
Yeah.
And I find it's either it's for you or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever want to do a Shakespeare play?
I would love to. I mean, I've done Lady Macbeth before in high school.
Okay.
But I'd love to revisit that because I think I was like a little young and
of course.
Like, it was new and I was scared and I was also like, I don't think I fully understood like everything
the
I was
story
saying.
And
because I did it the last time I did it, I was like 15.
Yeah.
So I think that would be like, if I had to pick any Shakespeare show to revisit, I would definitely do that one.
Yeah, wow. Mm-hmm. It's intense. I mean, it's very ambitious because there's a lot to, live up to as well. Because I find when anyone who does theater and does specifically Shakespeare, a lot of critique, right? And it's a lot of pressure. So if you can handle that and embrace it and just go with you do you mentality, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, okay, you went from there, you did these various like theater productions in high school in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Did you do any film or television training in Atlanta?
I did a couple on-camera acting classes, as I got older. And the moment I turned 18, so in Atlanta, there's a big industry for film. There's a lot of big production companies based there. And when I was 18, that's when it was like COVID time, so my school was all online. But I ended up applying to all these jobs to be an extra on film sets. Yeah. So I would be like skipping my Zoom classes to go like be on a film set.
Of course.
But then that like built my confidence so much and like gave me a sense of what it's like. And then after doing that I did that for almost a year. I would just do like different jobs, different sets.
Is there a job that you liked or that really stood out to you in your background?
I did Cobra Kai for Netflix,
cool. Nice.
Which was really fun.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think what definitely stuck out to me the most about that experience is that they actually let me have a little moment on camera.
No way.
Sometimes that just happens when you're an extra. They're just like you.
I know.
They took me and another girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had like no lines, but I got to do a scene where like the main actor was talking at us.
Cool.
And it was my first time actually having like marks to hit and like staying in frame.
You didn't say anything though. It was like a reaction kind of thing where it's like they're like, "Hey, you," and right? And you're like, "Oh."
Exactly. It was a reaction. I was like, "Well, what are you doing?" And then I had to run away from him.
Okay. Wow. No way. That's pretty cool.
It was really fun.
Yeah, that's great.
It stayed with me.
Years ago, when I was ambitious before even having any professional training, I was hitting up these open casting calls in Atlanta for Vampire Diaries, The Walking Dead.
Yes.
I had an audition to be part of Klaus's posse in the Vampire Diaries, to be like a hybrid.
Ooh.
So that was just out of nowhere. I had no training, but the director was like, "I like your look, you can audition for it." And I bombed it. I had no idea which direction I was going with it. I had no professional experience. And then there was a second time where it was for The Walking Dead, to be a zombie, but like one of the, the ones that get slain on camera, and it was a close-up shot. I auditioned for that, and I would have to do zombie school for a week, and then I would get killed by one of the main cast members.
Zombie school?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that would have been pretty cool, but at that time I wasn't able to make it to Atlanta. But I mean, again, Atlanta's booming, right? So, okay, you went from Atlanta, you come to Montreal. Where'd you start studying for acting?
Yeah, so I started at Concordia in the acting program there.
They have an acting program? Like theater, right?
Yeah, so it's part of the theater program. So then it's technically called theater specialization in acting, but we actually have they've been trying to incorporate more acting for film and acting for media into the program. So already this year, I've been able to do on-camera acting classes. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you rate it out of 10 in terms of your satisfaction for that class? Do you like it? Do you think oh yeah, it's outstanding, or do you feel like you still need to go to outside sources in terms of other acting schools here in Montreal to really fine-tune your craft?
Ooh, I feel like for me as a performer, I'm always searching for more training and more training and more training. But I feel that because now I'm going into my last year, I'm gonna graduate hopefully in the fall semester.
Congrats, that's
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
And I look back on when I started when I was 18, and I can just already see how much I've grown in my acting, and then just also my confidence as well, in myself. And I'm really grateful to the program and for my professors for I don't know, seeing me,
helping you develop.
helping me do that. Yeah.
I think part of it is you growing as an artist and as a person. Apart from that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just getting older, and that's usually that's just social development as well, right? You're getting comfortable with who you are as a person, and then that sort of transfers over to you as an artist.
Yeah.
And in some weird way, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did that. Any special skills or talents that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I am a second dan black belt in Taekwondo.
That's why you're on Cobra Kai, I see. Okay.
So I tried.
Cool. Yeah.
And then, I started doing Taekwondo when I was 10, and I did that my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I got my first black belt, and then after 2 years, you keep training, and then you test for your second ones.
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's very rigorous.
It is, yeah. And I loved it. I did it with my dad too, and I think that also has helped me a lot in my acting because it made me really aware of my body.
Just movement, right?
Yeah, movement.
Control.
Exactly, isolations, physicality. I'm a very physical actor.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's probably the theater background then for how you started out, right? Because it's very physical already.
Yeah.
Versus film and television, you just have to be so subtle and still and feel it and think it, and it already shows on the camera.
Exactly.
Versus theater, you have to be boom, 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 way out there, right? Okay, so Taekwondo, things like that. Is there anything else, accents or I don't know, hatchet throwing, for example, sparring, things like that?
Well, I love my accents. I'm trying to get better. Right now I have a few.
Yeah. Which one do you love?
I've been doing Irish a bit lately, Russian.
I've nailed that. The Irish one, I've nailed it. I'll show you after the shoot. I don't want to do it now. But,
yes, please. We can practice.
Absolutely.
We need to practice. I just watched Dairy Girls.
Okay.
And I was so.
Dairy Girls. What
it's
is
so
that?
good. It's so good. It's on Netflix, but it's an Irish show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good if you want to hear the accent. I always find that watching it helps me
I have a show that I would recommend. So I learned my accent from listening to Jamie Dornan in The Tourist. Ooh. It's a show on Prime.
Ooh.
Where he's an Irish guy who's sort of loses his memory in Australia, and he's trying to collect all the pieces on what the heck happened to him and why are people trying to kill him and this and that. It's pretty good.
That's my watch list.
Yeah, add it for sure. Okay, so Irish, Russian.
Russian, Southern.
You already have it. You don't have to practice it. You already have it.
I can make it. I can turn it up.
Yeah.
I can turn it up.
Well, the way I learned the Western cowboy accent, because I can do that as well, it's from an actor called Walter Goggins. He's from Fallout. He plays the cowboy in Fallout.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Atlanta.
Oh, really?
So
cool.
I watched his interviews, and I just noticed the way how he enunciates and all the words like that, and I'm from a Western cowboy kind of style, and that's how I'm going to do it, and that's how I practice it. And I was I just listened and I watched it, and then now I got a Southern accent sort of like that. Yeah. And it worked.
Exactly.
Right? So he's a good example. Anything else? Any other accents?
Well, I also, for other special skills, I do improv. I'm
okay.
Improviser.
Yeah, improv's fun.
Yeah, I do a lot in Montreal. and a lot of sketch comedy as well.
Oh, cool. Where?
Yeah, at Theater St. Catherine is mainly where I do a lot of things.
Okay.
I also have a group that I started with two of my best friends who are
Nice.
also actors
Nice.
in the Concordia program
Okay.
called Less Than Three. Is
Less
our
than
true
three?
Rest,
But there's
less
three
than
of you.
three.
But there's three of you. Okay, less
Yes.
than three.
And
Exactly. I think that's the humor to it already. Right?
so
Okay.
we've been doing we produced our own show 2 months ago so I got to
Whereabouts
practice
did you do it?
producing. Oh, we did it at school. We did it free
That's
tickets.
cool.
It was like our trial run.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for the
Okay.
experience, all of our friends. It
How'd it
ended
turn
up
out?
filling up. We had a full house. We had to have people sit on
What?
the floor because we didn't have enough chairs.
Were they complaining about sitting on the floor? Because if they were, I'd be like, you guys chose to be here. I didn't force you. You guys chose to be here to watch our show.
It's okay. We
So-
ended up there's a bit where we gave them food in the audience. We gave them some candy
Nice.
and stuff. So we gave it to people.
Throw Sour Patch Kids to them.
Exactly.
Yes. Sour suckers, sour keys and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So you did that. What's a skill you want to learn?
Ooh, I think that for me, because of my Taekwondo background, I'd like to get better at doing stunts, do actual stunt training, because
Yeah.
I've done combat for theater or stage combat like that.
Not
but
the same.
It's not the same,
No.
and I think that would be a really good skill to refine and actually learn the technical skills for doing stunt work for
To
camera
do it
or
properly
fighting.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
mhm.
One skill that I've learned, I've taken classes for SWAT classes
Oh.
and firearms. So being able to handle weapons, wearing the suit, going in formation as a SWAT guy, right? Throwing in the tear gas, break, this and that. That's a pretty cool skill. So if you can get on your hands on something like that, it's a very unique skill because not a lot of people have it, and you'll be chosen above a lot of other people. Be like, oh yeah, you could be a SWAT role or whatever, which is really cool, right?
Yeah.
And firearms training.
I didn't
It's
even
really
know
neat.
they would look for something like that, but that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah, any
It's
of
really
those
cool.
John Wick movies with the guns and stuff, it's that's all firearms training. They choose people who have specific training for that.
Wow.
So automatically you'd already be in that bundle, right? Which is
Right.
really cool and exciting. And one thing I've done here is hatchet and knife throwing. So that's cool. So Viking stuff, gladiator stuff, right? And I would love to do sword training.
Sword. It looks so fun. I just want to hold a
would love
sword.
to.
I just want to do that. I feel like that'd
It's a
be
lot
cool.
heavier than it looks. Solid 20, 25 pounds in your hand, it's a real deal.
It's okay. I do Pilates. I lift 3-pound weights, so I'll be fine.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Great. Okay. What about dream role? So if I can cast you in anything for let's say you have to do the role for 2 years, 3 years, is there a dream role, past, present, or future that you'd want to do?
Anything, for me, comedy is really my comfort zone. So I'd love to do something like that because I feel for me, a lot of my experience that I've had, especially for on-camera acting, has been a lot more dramatic roles,
Okay.
which is great. I'm grateful for that. That's been really fun.
It's experience.
Yeah, it's so much experience, but I feel I still haven't had the chance to take the comedy that I do in improv and in theater and have a chance to do that on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Is there a show in particular that you just want to be a part of that cast of, or steal one of the characters for yourself and be this is who I want to replace?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm trying to think.
You can
of
name a
comedy.
couple shows.
Yeah, because I love shows that are kind of Modern Family or even Girls. I started getting into Girls.
I haven't even heard of that one.
But I like.
Sounds like
that
something
type of
less than
comedy.
3, though. So
I think it's pretty popular. A few years ago, it's been popping up on TikTok for me. I've been watching it in clips.
So
Things like that.
what's it on? Is it on Netflix, Prime? Do you know?
I know it's on HBO in the States.
HBO?
So here, probably
Girls.
Crave or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably HBO here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Crave.
Yeah.
Crave has a lot of the HBO shows. Never heard of it. Do you know what it's about? Synopsis, anything?
I think it's just women in their 30s living their life.
The cougar lifestyle.
There's a lot of big actors
lifestyle.
in there.
Okay. Okay, I see. So sort of like Sex and the City style.
Yes,
I think.
that's a good way to explain it. That's a better way to explain it. It's very much like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
What about the contrary? What's a role that you would never do, even if I offered you the world?
That I would never do?
Yeah.
I don't...
Something that would make you feel uncomfortable, or just being like, no, there's no way I could ever get in the mindset of that, or I would never want to do something like that.
Oh my goodness. I think that something I would never do is, I think, play a role that like I wouldn't be like, I don't know.
Able to like relate to?
Sorry, that's a hard question.
It is, because, you know, it could be a role, for example, like you don't want to play someone who's getting murdered, or you don't want to play someone who's too violent, or you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or it could be just like, you know, maybe it's a role that you just cannot connect to, where it's like an astronaut or something. It's like, why would I want to, you know?
That's definitely advice I've received. I remember it's just like, don't play a dead body.
Oh,
don't play a dead body.
because you're always breathing.
Yeah, and then like you never know what happens, or like there are things out of your control, but like that's advice that I've gotten from people in the industry is like, don't play a dead body. And I think for me as well, like where I am right now in my career and anything, like I wouldn't do like nudity.
Okay, no,
know?
obviously.
Yeah,
No,
like,
it's either you're either
too.
for it or not. When I signed the contract with my agent, I just put yes. I'm like, I'm pretty comfortable in my own body. I don't mind people staring, and if they stare too long, maybe I'll cover up and be like, yo, what you staring at or something. And I'm just kidding. But aside from that, like for me, I would be okay with it. You know, I think as a storyteller and as an actor, it'd be very misleading for me to say I would never want to do any type of role. But I would say, like, if you're like, oh, you need to kiss another man, I mean, I'm very comfortable with my own sexuality. I have no problem with the other gender, but I would not feel comfortable kissing another man.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just from my perspective.
Yeah.
So I think even when I signed the contract with my agent, I put like, no, I would not, you know, play a gay couple, you know, just out of personal preference, right?
Yeah.
But anything else other than that, I would love to do.
Yeah.
Because that's storytelling, it's acting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Each role gives you an opportunity to do something different and tell a story from that character's perspective. Might be like Hannibal, for example. It's a horrible story, but there's something still beautiful about it, and there's still something very human about it, right? I don't know if you know anything about Hannibal, but he's, you know, someone who kills people, eats them.
Yeah.
He still has there's still a sense of humanity within him, even though he's doing all these horrific things.
But yeah, I think that's like our job as actors, you know, it's like even when you're playing a horrible person, it's like you're not gonna play them that way. You're trying to find like empathy for them, and then
and
like,
that's how you connect to your character as well,
yeah,
to be able to
exactly.
deliver it, and it comes off so organic and beautiful, and usually you'll get the standing ovation if you could do it properly and do it justice, right?
Yeah, I have played. I think I've joked. I've murdered 2 people on screen now. Before
You're that guy,
been
she just murdered 2 people on screen. Help me!
No.
I'm on screen.
yeah.
Oh
Watch out.
my god. All right, so I have a few more questions for you before we wrap up. One of the questions is, would you ever want to do costume acting? So that's like, I don't know if you've ever seen movies where it's like Planet of the Apes, where they'll either put you in like a motion capture suit and you'll act like, you know, an ape, this and that, or like Swamp Thing, where you'll physically have to wear the costume. Would you ever want to do something like that?
I would love to. I mean, a job is a job, a
Yeah.
win is a win. I think
Yeah.
that would be really fun because, like, it would be a really cool thing to just explore doing a character that's not human.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
for-
So it could be like extraterrestrial, supernatural, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What about like, I don't know, if you had to choose something from like the Vampire Diaries, would you want to do vampire, werewolf, hybrid, witch? Oh yeah, there's witch as well, I think. Yeah.
I'd do vampire. I do vampire. I mean, like,
yeah, why?
I'm pale already.
Slightly.
You don't even have to like put me in the makeup
Very
chair. Like, I'm
slightly.
ready. Yeah, this
So
is me tan.
vampire, you could maybe play the witch or sorceress if you want.
Oh, that would be fun too. Yeah. I just feel like, I mean, I do like the Twilight movies. So I feel like that'd be fun.
So
to
you're the
do.
Sparkling vampire. Oh.
Yes, always.
That-
I'll only play a vampire if they sparkle, like in the Twilight movies. I'll put that in my contract.
Okay, well, and with that, we'll definitely wrap up. No, that's fair enough. Okay, so you're a Twihard fan. So are you Team Edward or Jacob? Get to choose.
Jacob.
For obvious reasons.
I'm not like a
We have to
diehard.
go into that. We know your answer. Thank you guys for tuning in to Rising Stars. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode with Leia. It was an absolutely fantastic time. I'm your interim host, Sean Watt. This production sponsored by Urban Eats MTL. I can't thank you enough for being here. What a pleasure.
Thank you for having
Went by so
me.
quickly.
It's nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you as well. Take care, guys. I'll see you on the next episode.